All right, let's just jump right in. Every single time you go online, whether you're playing a game or just scrolling through recommendations, there are all these hidden forces shaping what you see, what you do. But what if the most mysterious force of all, luck, wasn't really a force? What if it was something else entirely?
I mean, really think about it for a second. That incredible last-second win you got, or that super frustrating near miss. We just chalk it up to chance, right? Call it fate. But is it really an accident? Or is there something else happening just behind the screen?
And this is where the whole idea gets turned on its head. This quote from our source material basically suggests that for some people, luck isn't something you just hope for, it's something you build.
What that really means is there's a person, a hidden figure, behind all those seemingly random results. Someone whose entire job is to construct the very foundation of digital chance.
So let's pull back the curtain. It's time to meet these people. They're called RNG engineers, and they are, for all intents and purposes, the unseen guardians of randomness in our digital lives.
Yeah, you've never heard of them. Their work affects millions of people, billions of dollars, but you will never see them on a stage accepting an award. Their whole profession is built on being anonymous.
When someone hits a life-changing jackpot, there are no thank you cards sent to the engineer who designed the system that made it all possible. They're completely invisible when it comes to the celebration. And on the flip side of that, when someone loses, they're not the ones getting the angry emails. Their role is to be totally impartial, a neutral creator of chance, completely detached from the emotional roller coaster of the final outcome.
Okay, so to really get what an engineer does, you have to understand the machine they're conducting. So what in the world is an RNG? Well, RNG stands for Random Number Generator. But listen, this is not some magical box that spits out luck. It's a hugely sophisticated algorithm. Think of it like an engine that's always running, constantly churning out numbers that decide your next win, your next loss, everything.
And this quote just gets to the heart of it. To us, it's a slot machine. It feels like total, pure chance. But to the engineer who built it, it's a symphony of code, where every single note, every little piece has to be absolutely perfect.
And this is their job. This is the mandate they have to follow. Just look at these rules for a second. They almost sound contradictory, right? The outcome has to be completely unpredictable, but it also has to be mathematically fair in the long run. A huge jackpot has to feel genuinely possible, but it can never ever be manipulated. That is the razor's edge they have to walk every single day. Now get ready for this, because this is kind of a mind bender. That machine is already calculating thousands of different outcomes per second before you even lift your finger. When you tap that spin button, you're not actually starting anything. You're just stopping the clock. Your finger just freezes the algorithm at one precise millisecond, and whatever number it landed on at that exact instant, well, that becomes your reality. So that brings us to the central challenge of their job, which is almost philosophical. How do you create true, unpredictable chaos using a machine that is literally built to be the exact opposite of that?
And this right here is the fundamental conflict. I mean, computers are logical, they're predictable, they follow rules, but real randomness, it's chaotic, it's messy, it almost feels alive. So the engineer's entire job is to force this predictable box of circuits to act in a completely unpredictable way. It's kind of like trying to teach a rock to fly.
So how do they do it? Well, basically they have to trick the machine. They find sources of chaos from the real world and feed them into the system. They might use the static or noise coming from the computer's own hardware. Or they'll use time signatures that go down to the nanosecond, or even measure tiny microscopic fluctuations in the building's electrical current. They have to find chaos to inject into the logic.
But after they've designed this brilliant system to mimic chaos, you'd think they'd be done, right? Nope. Their work is far from over. In fact, probably the most important part is just getting started.
They run simulations on a scale that is just massive. We're not talking thousands of spins. We're talking millions, sometimes billions of them. And what they're doing is hunting for the tiniest microscopic hint of a pattern. Any little flaw in the randomness, because even the smallest bit of predictability could be exploited and would break the entire system of fairness. In this relentless, almost obsessive pursuit of purity, it turns their job from something purely technical into something more. It makes them the ethical guardians of the entire system, the last defenders.
Yeah, their code of conduct is absolute. They are strictly forbidden from influencing an outcome. They can't just program a game to be hot and ready to pay out or make it cold to hold back wins. No, their only job is purity, creating randomness without any corruption.
So in an industry that's often filled with a lot of suspicion, these engineers really are the last line of defense for true, honest-to-goodness fairness. Their work is the guarantee that the game is exactly what it says it is, a game of pure chance.
In the end, their code becomes this constant, invisible pulse running in the background. It's like a heartbeat you can't see or hear, but it's the one thing that determines the fate of every single spin you ever make.
And the purpose of that heartbeat isn't to help you win. And it's not to make you lose either. Its sole purpose is just to preserve the integrity of the game itself, to make sure it stays a complete and total mystery every single time. So they build this engine of luck, piece by piece, line of code by line of code. They literally engineer the conditions for luck to exist, but they never ever control the final outcome.
And that leaves us with this one last, really fascinating question to chew on. If you know that chance itself is the product of a deliberate, human-made design, does that change what it even means to be lucky? It's definitely something to think about the next time you feel tempted to click spin.